Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Hello. Welcome to Make It Monday with Amy and Jim. And we are doing, Jim is doing. I can't say we, I'm just sitting here making perfect corners for cuffs, I guess collars and
Yeah, it's a similar technique for collars too.
perfect. Yeah, anything you need that perfection.
Well, you want that look because quite often when you make a cuff, it's always hard, especially if you follow the directions in the pattern.
Yep.
Because sometimes they have you sew half of it to the sleeve, and then you finish
fold it. Yes.
and then and it's kind of tricky, and then you end up having each cuff different shapes or different sizes.
Yes, and I know you do. Of course, you do menswear, but with the women's that you sew it on, and you have to fold it back, and then fold in your edge, and it's never the same.
Yeah, so I kind of do this for ladies and menswear, and I actually make almost all the cuff before I put it on.
And the details, it's all in the details. And people see your cuffs all the time. They see your collars all the time.
Especially when you put your hands up, you can't hide it.
Can't hide it, right. So,
and I usually, whenever I make it, I still look, because I'm kind of a perfectionist. So I look at it, and the ones that are more perfect, that's the one I'll use to put the buttonhole sides on, because that's what's more visible than that.
Hello, Gail from Colorado.
Gail.
All right, James.
So, okay.
Show us what you got, bud.
All right. So I'm going to flip over to the other camera. So basically, we'll start off with, you have this one. You've got your pattern piece that you have your cuff, and of course you're going to have two cut of interfacing, and I cut mine to the stitching line, and then 4 pieces of fabric for the pair of cuffs. And I got my fabric cut, and then of course I'll just cut my interfacing to fit that. And usually what I'll just do is fuse that on first, like I have there, and then I'll sew right across the very edge of the interfacing. And one of the things I don't do is I don't backstitch, because quite often when you follow the directions on the cuff, they're going to tell you to sew from here up to the point, pivot, sew across, pivot, sew down. And then whenever you go to trim, they always have you go and cut diagonally across, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens when you turn it up, it's kind of thick. So you take your iron and you press it really hard, and the tip of it gets really thick and bulky, and it cleans out the well of your iron. And as you can see with this one, it's really, really thin. And if you want to feel it, it's
awesome.
It's really thin.
Yeah. Look, I mean, that's crazy right there.
And I didn't sew it with green thread. I used white
thread.
And one of the things I do is I shorten my stitch, like really short. I went to 1.9.
Holy smokes.
Well, the thing is, it's harder to rip out.
It's hard to rip out.
Yes, I've done it once before.
I know, Jim, you're an expert.
So I just go ahead and sew it with a really short stitch length all the way across. I'll take.
And I'm laughing at your scissors, but they're perfect use for the applique scissors.
Yeah, I use my duckbill applique scissors to go and trim it. So you want to grade it to one a little smaller than the other. And of course, I'll trim the other one too. But I basically just trim the one, and I just trim straight across, because you can see the sides are still open. I just sew straight across the bottom. Then I'll take it to the iron. I'll press it flat to set the seams. And then I'll go ahead and press the seam allowances to the underside. In this case, it's going to be the side that doesn't have interfacing on it. And then just kind of give it a good press like that. And then what I'll do is I'll go back to the machine, and I'll fold all the seam allowances to the back side, and then sew across one end and the other end, just like that.
Through the magic of television,
we have it all done.
But that's kind of like the same folded corner I do on the serger. Is that? So you just that's amazing.
So just go right across there, and then of course use actually I'll use both. I got a point turner, but usually when I turn the cuff, I'll take the color point and tube turner, and I'll put that right in the very tip,
right,
and then pull it right side out, and you'll get a sharp.
And amazingly, both of these tools are from Amore.
Yep.
And so Brent is our guest speaker tomorrow night at the Guild des Amis Sews. You can join at any time. And you can hang out with us. It's just a Zoom meeting. It's fun. It's show and tell. It's all about you guys, right? We want to see what you're doing, and then we learn from each other, just like this.
And what I like to use with the point turner is, because quite often if you go to do that, you may go and poke it through.
Yeah.
When I go to iron, I'll run it through, and it'll help me to crease out that edge really tight.
Yeah, Reed just had nice point.
So that's why I like, and this hasn't even been pressed. You can see that's a pretty sharp point.
Yeah. So show the turn. Can you turn that? Show the other side. Show how you folded the corners down, I guess.
So again, you press everything flat. And then if you want, you can go ahead into the ironing board and then just press that little bit of a corner down. But I'm just folding right sides together. And actually, sometimes what I'll do is I'll actually take the back side and scooch it out maybe like a 1/16 of an inch. And so at that way, making the under cuff a little smaller, that'll pull it around to really wrap it around my wrist.
It'll force it in there. But when you
It'll help
fold
to
it,
shape it.
you're folding it to the stitching line.
Yeah. So
Right?
it's
not over, not under.
it's right to the
So
stitching
it's
line.
right on.
And then
that
when
edge.
I sew across here, it'll hold everything in place. And then again, I'll just go take my scissors and trim it close to the stitching and then turn it right side out. And you got a really nice cuff.
That's very nice. And it doesn't need to be a cuff. It could be anything that needs a
Yeah.
turn something.
Yeah.
Right? So
Or even like a
that's
collar
just,
like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then since I'm going to hide these two and I'll go to ask you this, Amy, which one of these was sewn on a machine and which one was done on a serger?
I can't tell from here.
You do the same thing on your serger. So this one was done with the serger. Same method. Set across the length, turned it, and inserted down the back, the sides, and then turned it inside out.
That's awesome.
So you can do it on a serger and you can do it on your sewing machine. And then this is when I'll do a little shameless self-promotion. If you like this technique,
Right.
this is actually part of a class I'm teaching at the Original Sewing and Quilt Expo. So if you want, just go to sewingexpo.com and you can look up the collar, cuff, and class, and you're actually going to sit and make a cuff in class.
Oh, that's cool. And so we're actually taking a bus trip to
Yeah.
Cleveland, right? We'll run buses again.
Yeah. So
So do you want to put and so we're running a bus trip again to Cleveland. And
that's gonna be
last year
fun.
we had 2 buses, right? We
Yeah, it was. You brought a lot of people.
the first Thursday, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So that's happening. And then also we are oops. What did I just do?
You're good.
Did I mess
There
up?
you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
So we're also by Annie's, the pattern bag people that we absolutely
Yeah.
love. They're doing a contest on the local quilt show.
Mhm.
So if y'all could go vote for us, and so the prizes can go to the staff. So we're excited. So we could use as many votes as possible because we're a pretty small creator compared to some of the big stores out there. So we appreciate it. So
Yeah.
it's the by Annie's local quilt contests. So
That'd be fun.
so just I rarely ask for anything, but that's we'd appreciate it. So let's see what else we got. We have
Hey,
Carolyn
Reen.
says hello. Reen's here.
Yep.
Jeanette says hello. You two all signed up for Cleveland Expo. Guess
Oh,
what the
right.
first class is?
Yep.
And I wonder what the first class is.
One of the classes
The
there
gym class.
is a collar, band, and cuff. So we're going to be actually in class making your collar, the collar band, and cuffs.
Yes. So
And you'll be actually sitting and sewing.
Right.
You're not going to make a project, but you're learning the technique.
yeah. So what I'm doing this week, I'm getting the sweatshirt classes ready. You can go to amybachman.com for that. They're going to be virtual and in store. The elephant and the headless giraffe back there. And there's a bear laying there. Sharon and I are prepping those classes for virtual scan and cut, silhouette, Cricut, whatever you have. You can join us. Hi, Miss Leslie. Darlene from Connecticut.
Nice.
Yeah, very much so. So that's what's happening. We survived our event this weekend.
That was fun.
Yes. And today at 1 p.m. Eastern, the registration
Uh-oh.
for the Designs by Juju event here at the store is going live for you to purchase. It's probably going to sell out in
And crash the
nanoseconds.
system too.
Probably going to crash the system. I'm hoping not. And then we're looking for an alternative to do to stream it live too. But it's a hack thing that I don't want to disturb the people here, and
Yeah.
I don't want the live people to feel like they're being ripped off because they're not seeing anything. You would still get the downloads, the kits, but we have to work the tech out. It may
Yeah.
or may not happen. So that's where I'm at.
Just stay tuned to the website.
Yes,
It'll
absolutely.
be posted there.
That's it. All right. Well, everybody have a wonderful day, because the more you know.
The more you sew.
Bye, everybody.